Alright, so I know what you're thinking. It's time for the buff debuts. There's lots of characters that got buffed and all that other fantastic, oh so orgasmalicious, incredible information. But we're going into a Lua Senya shoe. And last time I checked, that comp is still pretty cancerous. Now, if you go about it the way I do here, you can pretty much clown on this same comp by just utilizing a auto strategy, Shadow Knight Pyllis being unbelievably based with the Rocket Punch artifact, Christy being amazing, just standing there, giving extra ER to Shadow Knight Pyllis, and Roana providing any and all extra heals that you could ever possibly need, S3 or S1 or counterattack or Vigilant Eye otherwise. And with that being said, oh hey, looky there, Christy, Pyllis, Roana, CRP, pretty much. Yeah, you're just autoing this out. So, what we're going to do is we're just going to go for Choux, and then as soon as Choux goes down, if the Lua does not have stealth from Guiding Light, which can indeed happen, you can just get really unlucky with your Guiding Light procs and just not get it, which does happen in this fight. Then you just go for her, and if you don't have the option to go for her, then you just go for Senya. And like I said, you can just straight up auto this fight. Because the only actual threat is Choux. Choux is the only one that deals damage. The Senya is a threat because the Senya can do like a lot of stuff that just messes with your comp. Like she can provoke you, she can do extra damage to you via additional damage if she's rocking her artifact, which, spoiler alert, this one actually isn't. So if you were to get like any kind of criticism from me in terms of using Senya like this, because this Senya is being utilized like, oh hey, look, I'm annoying as fuck. So what I would do instead is I would probably switch your artifact, or not your artifact, but your enhanced equipment, and I would go for the HP heal one, which is the S1 EE. Instead, this one went for the greater attack buff one, and if you don't have Spear of a New Dawn, you're really just kind of shooting yourself in the foot, because you're losing an excessive amount of damage. So, because these guys going for, like, I believe it's Holy Sack. If you're going for Holy Sack, you should really try to make your Senya as annoying as humanly possible. Don't even have attack on the fucking character at that point. Just like have her doing nothing but effectiveness. And if you have a good point of effectiveness that you're comfortable with, then just try to go to like 4 or so K attack. I mean, higher is always better, of course, because you're wanting people to hit into you. But if you don't have the effectiveness to really be a threat, then, well, I mean, hey, you're just kind of going to sit there. And that's pretty much what this one does. So, like I was saying before with, like, oh yeah, so the team's still really, really mad annoying. I'm making it look like it's a joke because I'm autoing this. But, like, still, just because this team just functions extremely well to counter this meta team. Like, for example, you could try to bring Arunka here, and Arunka can work. It's just you're dealing with far too many, like, other random factors to go into this to actually try out Arunka. For example, your only barrier generator is going to be the Senya that's over there on that side. Sure, you can proc it whenever the hell you want with Arunka because she does not crit. But the problem is you're also still dealing with Choux and you're also still dealing with Lua. Lua mainly pretty much being the biggest problem, because what Lua does is like, oh hey, cool, I'm just like the stupidest fucking character in the universe, so I can just non-attack skill cooldown reduction the entire fucking team, and I can also like put somebody to sleep if they don't have the ER. So that pretty much just means the only way to fight Lua is with ER shit. Or if you could try to do like the Lilias stuff to go into her. But either way, like it's a huge fucking hassle. Why even bother with all that shit when I can auto it? Now, onto the next thing that I really was interested to try out. So this is Conqueror Lilias, it's Mercedes, and it's Apocalypse Ravi. I normally wouldn't do this because I'm not very confident in Little Queen Charlotte's damage, but she did recently get buffed. So here I'm just trying to make the decision of, okay, so let's just raw dog put up the attack buff, and let's not hit until I like Mercedes as much as we can to proc like a magic for friends, because we don't have any ER on Little Queen Charlotte. So after this attack right here, thankfully still no magic for friends, so we're still good. And now it's going to be her turn. So this is 8 stacks of Hellcutter, attack buff, and onto the first hit of a Proof of Valor Ravi through Vigor and through Barrier. We do almost 17k. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. I would assume, with the buffs that she had received, which are tailor-made of, oh, lol, I do more damage to dark units on S3. Like, only S3. This is where I'm just thinking, like, Savior Aiden is just a better unit. She has more utility for the team. Her artifact is what grants her the extra damage to dark units, so it's literally S1 and S3, whereas Little Queen Charlotte, the whole fucking reason she even exists is to deal, like, critical damage to dark units. It's only on the S3. So, like, I don't know what else to say, man. Like, there's a lot of things that can run through my head of things that you could do to possibly, like, buff her more. Because, like, right here, in all honesty, I'm actually getting a little bit worried. Because we don't have, like, the S3 available to, like, really go nuts with Charlotte. If you soul burn it, that's just an extra turn. That doesn't really help her too much, because we're utilizing Hellcutter. Because we have to build her slow and bulky to really just deal damage, and Hellcutter just makes it even easier to accrue even more damage. So, for, like, the damage that, like, for the work that is being applied here, it just feels like the damage just straight up isn't there. So, the only other thing I could possibly think of is if going into a dark unit, you bypass damage mitigation kind of effects? I don't know. But either way, we're about to come up to a second S3. And it's, like, this is working out just because we were able to heal through some shit. Like, Destina really pulled her weight. She kept us all alive. Mediator Kawerik kept us alive. He also gave us barriers. And with this, we're able to hit her a second time. And because, you know, we've already hit her a few times through Proof of Valor, we do, like, almost 18 to 19k. I'm still not impressed. If anything, I almost feel like Little Queen Charlotte would benefit more, like, having an attack that deals incremental damage. Like a lot of the units that we've been getting recently, like, the more they keep using their S3s and shit, they just keep getting stronger and stronger. I don't know, she just doesn't have any form of ramp up, and I just don't see her as a threat. Because if you see a Little Queen Charlotte, you could even, like, you can even taunt that and fight that shit with Dark Corvus. You're not ever going to kill a Dark Corvus in one hit. It's just not going to happen. But either way, for this next fight here, we have Ran, Apocalypse Ravi, and Summertime Iseria. Hey, looky there, Summertime Iseria is already dead. So, we're going into this with the double Celine comp and with a Destina, just because, well, what if that was RNL? Because if that was RNL, then Spirit Eye Celine's dead. But, here's the moment you've all been waiting for. So, Spirit Eye Celine got a buff. What did they do for her? Oh, they literally just made her work. I'm not even fucking kidding when I say that. Now, when I say, oh, she just works now, basically, every attack that she will do with her S1, whenever she has possession up, it's just gonna be the good version of Swordstorm. It's gonna be the blink attack. Yeah, it's gonna be Nimble Sword. You're going to get a Nimble Sword proc for every time she's hit with a critical attack and every time you take a turn with your S1. Like, yo, it just works now. Wow. Wow, who'd have thought such a simple-ass buff would feel so good? Because straight up, the other thing that they did to her is that they made her lifesteal a little bit better. And honestly, I can't really notice it. And the main reason I say I can't notice it is because, I mean, you're just getting, you know, enhanced spirit, Nimble Sword procs. So you're going to be just doing more damage anyway. So I don't really notice the actual health increase on your steel. So, hey, that's how it is. Now, here's the pièce de résistance. We have good old Mediator Kawerik and Arunka and Roana. Roana does literally nothing. But we're going to try out and see, hey, Arunka, what kind of damage can you do? That's some good shit right there. So, finally, Arunka doing respectable damage, something that she should have had since the beginning. Like, this is just straight up something she should have had. Now, the only issue that I kind of see with Arunka now, yeah, she lost attack buff, but there are actually a lot of different solutions that you can do with this. For example, if you have an Amelia, like, that's just straight up an attack buff and cleanser, and if you have one that's just super, super fast, which you should, yeah, it'll work out. Now here I go for the Senya because I thought that the Fallen CC was on Aureus. So I was wanting to see, like, okay, how much will this affect my damage? And it turns out she didn't have Aureus on her. So with that being said, oh, okay, whatevs. We'll just go into this like normal. And I mean, I could be mistaken on something. I don't think Arunka like goes through damage sharing or anything like that. I mean, I could be wrong though, guys. You're dealing with a complete fucking retard. But either way, now I'm going to try and go into Fallen CC without attack buff. So before we were doing somewhere around the 26 to 27 Ks with attack buff, and now we're going into like a supposedly, you know, high tank kind of unit like Fallen CC. So we did 23k. And the biggest thing that I can really take from Arunka's buffs are she's actually fucking mad good into like HP bloat units that don't have like high levels of defense. For example, I even tried this in an arena match against an Ikarina. I did not one-tap her because Ikarina has a lot of defense. So you still did pretty good damage, but that's something you should definitely probably be aware of whenever it comes to Arunka. So for this oh-so-wonderful last match, yeah, we're going into Ran, we're going into Mercedes, and we're going into Senya. So what I decided to do is, well, hey, what if we just play Benimaru, and then we just play with two Soul Weavers that both have revive mechanics, because Benimaru just does that much fucking damage. I mean, we're not going into, like, any real water units that actually need to be dealt with immediately, so we'll just rely on Hellflare to do that kind of killing power. We do. And now all we have left is just Mercedes to kill one more time and Senya. So here's the reason why I brought two healers. Or, well, two healers that can that can revive. Is because I knew this was going to happen. Either that or Magic for Friends was going to happen. I just knew some stupid shit was going to happen. And it did. So now we were able to go in and get the first revive up. And with this one revive, I mean, we don't die again. But now, with that being said, like Benimaru's turn's next, we also happen to get an attack buff from his oh-so-wonderful, stupid fucking artifact that I still only have one of. Yay! I love limited artifacts. Get the fuck rid of them, Smilegate. But the other thing is, hey, cool. So we've dealt with all of the DPS-related issues. The only thing that can possibly kill Benimaru now is if he doesn't crit Senya, and then she counterattacks him. Which, the advantages are astronomical in your favor. One, you're red, so she has a 50% chance to miss you, and if that happens, you don't get provoked, and you just straight up, you have a 50% chance of critting her anyway, possibly a little bit more because you have type advantage. So, I mean, this is all really just ultimately in your favor. So, just keep going until you eventually get the win, which we do, which is oh so wonderful. Don't you guys love Benimaru? Fun character. I would love him immensely more if he just had some form of security in his kit, but he just doesn't. That's like the main thing I don't like about him. Just all of his stuff is tied to multi-layer barrier, and that's the only thing I just don't care for him. But hey, now we're on to the last fight. So this is Choux, Apocalypse Ravi, and Unbound Knight Arowell. I thought about bringing Arunka into this, but I wanted to also try out Sharun. I was actually going to do this with 3 Soul Weavers, but I was afraid that if I brought in, like, say, Magic Scholar Doris instead of Spirit Eye Celine, then what if I'm dealing with an effective resist monsters? Then I straight up can't win. Like, that was the one big thing that was going through my head. So I just decided to bring in Spirit Eye Celine, and there's one risk that actually occurs, and I'll point it out whenever I see it. So before, the first things first, I went first on all of my slow units, so this team I'm fighting against is even fucking slower than I could have possibly imagined. So here's the first hit into Choux. Something I actually didn't need to do because she hasn't done her S3 yet. So that was the turn right there. If she procced her extra attack on her S2, I would have been dead. I would have been fucking dead. So thankfully that didn't happen. So we're good to go. So now that we've gotten through like that first like wave of turns, I'm just going to go into Choux here, and oh hey, cool. The one thing that really kind of makes Sharun kind of sucks is 15%. So we didn't get the attack hit to like do cooldown reduction onto the Choux, so now we have to go through anti-crit. Thankfully, like, you know, the 50-50 rolls of hitting a crit were kind of on my side today, so I just kind of kill her. Like, Choux completely dead now. Now all we have left is Apocalypse Ravi. And we have fucking Sharun here. Sharun's doing all the healing and providing barriers for Spirit Eye Celine, so the damage that you're just taking is fucking nothing. And also, like, as soon as that crit resist is gone on the A Ravi, I'm just going to be doing, like, crazy-ass max-level damage, because the way in which A Ravi works, whenever she goes into Spirit Eye Celine, she reduces her health pool because of the injury, and all that's going to do is just going to make it even easier to heal up to max, because you just deal so much fucking damage. But, hey, thankfully, we've already taken care of Unbound Knight Arowell, we've taken care of Choux, all we have left is Apocalypse Ravi, and we can really just kind of go into her at our leisure. Because we have Sharun here with us, Sharun just, you know, applies Venom. That does cooldown reduction. That also does injury to her whenever Venom procs. Mad fucking good. I kind of feel like Sharun should perhaps detonate Venom, but I don't know, man. I guess not. Because, like, that's what Death Dealer Ray does, and he does it plenty well enough. And honestly, if you're fighting anybody who doesn't have a form of cleanse or whatever, Death Dealer Ray will fuck your shit up bad. But, hey, that's pretty much the match right there. So, I really, really like a lot of the changes that Spirit Eye Celine got. I like what happened with Arunka. And I don't really plan on using Jacko anytime soon. Why? Well, I just don't really care for the character. That's it. Like, I know everybody's pretty much saying, like, every fucking person in the fucking whole goddamn world is already saying, like, oh yeah, Jacko. Yeah, oh, okay, I get it. Jacko's fucking retarded. Jacko's fucking broken. I get it. It's cleave shit, and I just don't like cleave shit. I don't really have anything else to really say to you. I just don't like the character. Not a fan. Was never a fan of the character. But and that being said, I do have one other thing I want to get off my chest as well. Like not any buff related stuff or whatever. Because speaking of Mediator Kawerik, man, Smilegate, seriously, in all honesty, please, for the love of God, whenever you do, like, like audio recordings for characters, like their lines or whatever, could you please make sure that the audio balancing is, oh, I don't know, fucking listenable? Because every single bit of Mediator Kawerik from this video and the video from yesterday, all of those were edited to have boosted audio. Like, I edited them to have at least like 2 to 3 like higher decibels, because every time like Mediator Kawerik would start speaking or doing any line or anything of that, and also this also applies to Little Queen Charlotte too, by the way, her skin is obscenely quiet for some fucking reason. Meanwhile, like her sword on her S3 sounds like a fucking jet plane going by, and then you can barely hear her fucking speaking. And like with Mediator Kawerik, it's like the same way. He's like mumbling through all of his fucking lines. Just boost the audio. And then meanwhile, fucking Fastest has the loudest shit in existence. But either way, hey, if you like this video, please go ahead and leave a like. If you want to see more of my content, go ahead and hit subscribe. I hope to see you guys again soon. Later.